Hey, what's up? This is Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com, and today we're going to be talking about Class 2 and Class 3 elastics with aligners, and what to do if you're not using Invisalign. Obviously, if you are using Invisalign, it's significantly easier. Here's an example of what their precision cuts look like. You can see here. Can you see it on the canine? I'm going to go ahead and hook that on for you. Now, in terms of what elastics to use, you're going to really have to try them in your patient and see. There's no wrong or right answer to this, and it really depends on the morphology of the teeth and the bite. So let me show you what this looks like. See, this would be for a Class 2 elastics. It just hooks right on there. And then down on the bottom, it's going to go ahead and hook to the lower molar. You can use either the first or the second molar. You could either use a button or you can use precision cut to precision cut. So many options. It really depends on your personal preference. So we're going to go ahead and show you a diagram shortly about that. If you're going to go from button to button, you can do that too, actually. You can probably use heavier elastics. You might be able to use 3/16 heavy or even possibly 1/8 heavy. If you're going from precision cut to precision cut, it's going to be a little bit different. In that case, let me do that for you. I'm going to set one up for you. You're going to have to use a lighter elastic. You know, in that case, it's going to be a little more challenging because you are going to have to make sure that they're not getting displaced. So let me show you kind of what that looks like. And this is, I'm using a combination of ClearCorrect and Invisalign. But so that's going from slot to slot, okay? So that means the patient is going to go ahead and assemble this outside the mouth and then put it in their mouth all at one time, as opposed to going from button to button where you're going to put the aligners in first. The buttons will already be on the teeth and then hook the elastics on. So personal preference, what you want to do. What if you want to go ahead and punch your own precision cuts? Now, again, we showed the demo of Invisalign, what it looks like. The good thing about Invisalign is because of their scallop trim, it's super easy to put the hook on and they're relatively low profile. If you're going to punch in your own, it gets a little bit uglier, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about, because if there is no scallop trim, when you try to punch in your own, it's not going to work. So you're going to have to create your own slot. So let me show you what this looks like. You have to play with it a little bit, but this is for the Class 2. You can see here. So what I was using to do that was, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. So the pliers that I was using, these are made by Justenko. It's a company out of Sweden, and you can see here, this is the slot puncher. I have a couple other videos on that. If your aligners have straight line trim, like ClearCorrect or some of the other in-house aligner white label companies, you are going to have to get creative with your punching. This is how you do the molar punch out. That's a little bit easier. You can see here, I'll show you what that looks like. So here's where I did a molar punch out down here, okay? And really, I would put it on the patient first, you know, and just kind of mark where you want to do it. It needs to be in the center of the clinical crown, and you need to be able to get the whole button on there and a tiny bit of enamel along the gingival so that it's not kind of seeping on the gingival as you bond it, because it's probably not going to stay on. So you need to make sure you make it high enough. This is probably an example of how not to do it, because it's a little bit off center, and I think not high enough. So I'll try to reposition that for you. But okay, so let's talk about the opposite. So here we go, I'm popping it right now. Woo, that's a little bit better. Okay, maybe a little bit more centered, okay? What if you want to do a Class 3 elastic? Class 3 elastic is the opposite. So you're going from, and we'll go ahead and show you a diagram now. We're going from upper molar, so you can either do the 6 or the 7, so you have to think about that, to the lower canine for the most part. So it's opposite, right? So upper molar to the lower canine. Let's see if we got one punched out here. Nope. Yes. So here. This is actually an upper now. We just turned it into an upper. So there's your upper molar cutout, or you can do a slot. I'll make a slot for you right now. You can see how to do that. Again, these are not the prettiest, but I do find that when you have a straight line trim, you're kind of at a disadvantage for this. You really are. Let's do that here. Sorry, I'm not really doing it in front of you guys, but okay. So I kind of ran it to the 7 here, but here, this is for Class 3. So upper molar slot down to lower canine. If you want to go slot to slot, you're going to have to go lighter on elastics. If you want to go button to button. You can go heavier on elastics. Again, the elastics I'm usually using are, on the small end is going to be your 1/8 medium to 1/8 heavy. On that larger end, maybe 3/16 to maybe 1/4. Depends on the morphology of the teeth, the bite, the patient's musculature, so many things. So you really need to try in the elastics before the patient leaves the office and make sure that they can comfortably get them on and get them off in a timely manner. I'm going to give them about 1 or 2 minutes. If they can't do it in 2 minutes, either have them practice more or change the elastic size. If they cannot do it, then they're not going to do it at home, because and you guys should be able to do it too. I'll be honest. Initially, unless you have nails, you're probably going to use one of these to put the elastics on. But if you can't do it with your nails, the patient can't do it with their nails, okay? So, and the patient's not going to take this home. There's elastic hook, things that you can use it, but realistically, is the patient going to carry that around? No. So make sure it's something that you can do before you assign it to your patient. In order for elastics to work, some tips, you have to wear them 24/7, 24/7. Maybe you can have maximum 2 hours per day while you eat. If they are only wearing them 18 hours a day, it will not work. You will get zero outcome on this. So it's like a seesaw effect. It's just going to be sore. That's the only thing that's going to happen. So you have to make sure that your patient understands this 24/7. And not just 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You're talking about months to get. I would say if they wear it aggressively, and you did right by your sizing, you should see about 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter a month of AP change. By AP change, I mean the bite correcting from the anterior posterior direction. That means if they have a 7 millimeter overjet, it's going to take at least 7 months to correct that. That's even on the max. I don't know in an adult if you're going to get that much correction. That's maybe in a kiddo. In an adult, the max you're going to get with elastics is probably 2 to 3 millimeters of correction, and that's if they're awesome. In a kid, maybe you can get up to 6 to 7 millimeters, and that's if they're awesome. But like I said, that's going to take minimum 7 months of 24/7 wear. When the patient comes in for their checks, you need to be measuring them and taking photos. You should see, if you're only seeing them every 6 to 8 weeks and they're honestly wearing these 24/7, you'll see a change. If you don't see a change, they didn't wear them. So, and you need to be confident in telling them that. So, a little confidence with elastic goes a long way, because, patients or kids are like animals. They can sniff out fear, and it's a lack of self-confidence. So you need to have the confidence. But again, if you didn't size the elastics right, guess what? It's not going to work. So it all comes down to whether you sized it right. So hopefully I didn't blow your mind too much with these instructions, but there's an art to wearing elastics, and there's an art to getting a good outcome. So any questions, feel free, send your questions our way. StraightSmileSolutions.com. We'll be glad to help you with aligners and elastics wear. All right, thanks so much. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.